Wendy Thagard from the Perna team with Keller Williams. I'm here today with Matt from Trademark Inspection Services, and we're going to talk about what to do to get our home ready really any time of the year on the interior. So Matt, what are some things that my clients and future clients can look as far as maintenance on the interior of their home?
You know, Wendy, this is a really good topic, and thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. As a matter of fact, when we write up inspection reports, one of the biggest issues we find are things that are related to home maintenance. So the first thing I would say is we're coming up to the fall and winter season here before long in Michigan, and I know none of us like that word. Well, we love fall for football here in Michigan, but the cold weather, I don't know about you, but as I'm getting older, I don't like it as much. But we really start to think about safety. We're going to be using these gas-fired furnaces or boilers or these different systems. And the first place my mind always goes is we see a sad story every year about carbon monoxide.
Yep.
I recommend that you look at what your fire code recommends, but in a good general rule of thumb, Wendy, you should have a carbon monoxide detector at minimum on every floor.
Okay.
It's better to have them actually in every bedroom and then one on every floor also. If they're older than 10 years old, replace the whole unit. Make sure you're testing them, the batteries are working good. I recommend definitely using multi-powered, either hardwired and battery backup or plug-in and battery backup. It's just an important thing. We just hear that sad story every year.
So maybe when you first move in, you should probably just replace all the carbon monoxide and smoke detectors.
Absolutely, Wendy. And it sounds like you've probably read one of our home inspection reports from a time or two.
Yes, I have.
But yeah, we actually recommend that is when you don't know, unless it's a brand new construction,
Sure.
You want to replace the carbon monoxide detectors, the smoke alarms, and your door locks. I recommend doing it before you ever move a piece of furniture in. It's just one of those things, if you don't do it, you're not going to do it. Just go do it. It's not that expensive.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, we're always checking the batteries. We see it every year during daylight savings time. Check your smoke alarms. Now they're building these units that have 10-year battery life in them. And the reason for that is those units are meant to be replaced every 10 years. They have sensors in them that they recommend every 10 years you replace the whole unit. So that's where I would go first, is with some safety items like that. The next place I like to go is a lot of people have fireplaces.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a natural wood burning fireplace, make sure your fireplace is cleaned out, that you have a chimney sweep done to it. If it's got an old terracotta, like those ceramic flues or whatever it might be, that they're sealed, that you have someone look at it, there's no cracks in them. I know my grandfather one time had a chimney fire. It's not pretty. So we want to look for that safety. If you have a gas fireplace, you want to make sure that the pilot's working right, that there's not a bunch of soot, that there's nothing that's going to cause a problem.
Okay.
This is one of those ones though, Wendy, where I recommend if you don't understand it, you have a professional come out and do it.
Absolutely.
It's not that expensive to have done. It's not something I would recommend watching a YouTube video and saying, hey, I can do this. Kind of like inspectors, a lot of people say, well, can my brother just inspect the house for me? And your brother may be a great builder. I'm a licensed builder. I built homes for many, many years. But it doesn't really show you the process of home inspecting. You have to know a lot about it. And just like with that fireplace, though you may know a lot about fireplaces, there could be things you're not trained for. So, little disclaimer, I recommend having a professional for fireplaces unless you really are educated and know what you're doing. So the next place I kind of go on the inside is all the water valves.
Okay.
And the shut-off valves for the gas. So as certified home inspectors, we follow standards of practice. And a lot of people don't understand, but we're not allowed to operate water valves and gas valves. And the reason is, Wendy, because there's such a high percentage of them that they're frozen up. The minute we try to turn them, they break. They start a water leak.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. And unfortunately, when you're representing a buyer, they don't own the home yet.
Yes.
So I'm not allowed to come in there and put holes in the walls with a sledgehammer, operate valves, and do things I'm not supposed to be. Now, we're trained to look for signs and stuff like that, but we can't necessarily destruct things. So going on to our home maintenance, you really should every 3 to 6 months be operating all your valves in your house.
So underneath all the sinks?
Yeah, all the sinks, behind the toilets.
Okay.
You have your main water shut-offs down, typically in a basement or the crawl space they could be. Some areas they're outside.
Okay.
So yeah, any valve that's able to be open and closed. Now here's the big tip for them. If you try to operate it and it doesn't move easily, don't do it. Call a licensed plumber to have them come and replace the valve, or they may be able to repack it or free it up. But then if there is a big water leak, they know how to get water shut off really quick.
Okay.
So last thing we want to do is create more problems. We want to try and
Correct.
give you the tips to make sure that you're maintaining your house. And then lastly, I would make sure that I go through and I caulk everything in. A big one is in front of the bathtubs. We see a lot of leaks in the ceilings on the first floor because the kids are getting out of the bathtub on the second floor and water's just slowly dripping through there. So around the bathtub, shower stalls, look for broken tiles, things like that.
Toilets?
Toilets, absolutely. So a tip, and there's a lot of great debates over whether you should caulk around the bottom of a toilet. I know a lot of plumbers who do it. I will tell you, in my professional opinion, in my years of experience, go ahead and caulk around 3/4 of it and leave the back out. The reason I say that one is if that wax ring, and that's how we seal the toilet to the floor,
Yeah.
starts to leak, I want that water to come out so I know I have a leak.
Okay.
I don't want it rotting the floor underneath of it before we realize there's a leak. So yeah, there's a lot of big debates between plumbers and codes and things like that. I'm a practical person, and I just know from experience, that's what I find works best.
Okay.
It looks a lot prettier, nice and caulked in. I grant everybody that, but I'm more about the functional side of things. So yeah, around it. And then the other place you want to look is around windows and doors and things like that. Make sure the weather sealing's good, because that's going to really help with the comfort in your home. And you know, we went through this pandemic through the last couple of years and things like that. We're in our homes a lot more, it seems like.
Absolutely.
So comfortable living is good.
Yes.
So those will probably be my biggest tips for the interior of a house, of things that you can look at, that you can maintain. We could go into things like, you know, throwing ice down your garbage disposal to help keep the blade sharp and clean. I see a lot of plumbers that recommend that, and I actually do that in my house, and it seems to work rather well.
Okay.
But we're really looking for those safety items, things that are gonna lead to big, costly repairs.
Yes.
And it's that old adage my grandfather taught me, is if you fix the little things, they don't turn into big things. And that's where we want to really help your clients to make sure they're doing smart home maintenance.
We definitely don't want big issues.
Right, but
Yes.
but I will tell you, if any of your clients have any questions about anything in their house and they need some maintenance tips, they can always give our office a call at 734-331-3269, or even email us pictures of things. I love to look at pictures of things, and I'm one of those people who like to figure out puzzles. So if I can't figure it out, it usually keeps me up at night, and that's okay. So our email is info@Trademark Inspection Services, and we're definitely here to help and help our community.
Well, Matt, it was great talking to you today, and I hope you walk away getting some information good for your home on the interior maintenance of your home. Again, my name is Wendy Thagard. I'm with the Perna team with Keller Williams. Look forward to talking to you soon.